Hey there, and welcome back to The Lookout. This in-depth guide will serve as a reference for both new and experienced collectors of the SH Figuarts line, pertaining specifically to those of the Dragon Ball franchises. I've provided timestamps in the description so that you can jump to the most relevant section for your purchase, without having to fast forward or rewind to locate segments. We're going to be covering as many aspects as possible, such as in-person and online purchases, seller red flags and warnings, as well as buying sealed versus loose figures. I've also included a segment covering what to do if you find yourself as the victim of a bootleg scam, and in the description you'll find a link to a document with trusted stores that sell legitimate product, which I can personally vouch for. Without further ado, let's begin with in-person purchases. When you come across a figure in person, you want to make sure to take that opportunity to get a closer look at the packaging and the figure that's inside. Oftentimes, you'll be able to get a few key indicators of authenticity from just a quick inspection. So let's cover the main points that I use most often. For the purposes of this video, we'll be using a legitimate SH Figuarts Goku Black right here on the left. We'll be comparing him to a counterfeit, bootleg, or imitation, whichever term you prefer. At first glance, you'll notice that the bootleg box bears a striking resemblance to the original, right down to the logos for the Bandai Collector Shop, Dragon Ball Super, as well as Tamashii Nations. This is your first line of defense, as any product claiming to be a legitimate SH Figuarts but lacking these logos is a bootleg and a fake. This bootleg, however, despite an admirable attempt at recreation, is missing some very important indicators of authenticity. Right here, you'll notice both a Funimation sticker as well as a Toei animation sticker, both of which are missing on the bootleg. These stickers serve as one of your best indicators that the figure is legitimate. The Toei sticker does have several official variants, so if you find yourself with a white/gold Toei sticker, or if your sticker features red lettering as opposed to purple, don't count it out as a bootleg just yet. If you don't see a Toei animation sticker at all, that serves as a clear sign that what you're looking at is likely a bootleg figure. The Funimation sticker is another great indicator of authenticity, though not all regions have it. In this case, a Funimation sticker helps identify authentic figures. However, it is not something you should solely rely on. If you live in the United States, or if you're purchasing from a US-based seller, you have the added benefit of being able to check for a bluefin distribution sticker, which only authentic figures will have. On the more recent releases, those which have come out in the past 2 to 3 years, you'll find a holographic Tamashii Nation seal of quality approval, which Goku here will do us the favor of displaying. If you've checked for the Toei animation sticker, and your package features a bluefin or Funimation sticker, or both, then you can likely rest easy knowing you've purchased something legitimate. However, if you're still confused, say you do have a Toei sticker, but it's a Gold Japan variant, or has different colored lettering, there are other ways to help you authenticate your figure. Make sure that the print quality on the box is of a high standard. Taking a look at the bootleg right here, you'll notice that the colors seem muddied, and more importantly, that the colors are faded, and the images are in a significantly lower quality. One of the best parts about the SH Figuarts line is that their packaging features a display window, providing you with a chance to take a good look at the paintwork and sculpting of the figure. If we take a look at the official Goku Black, we're able to see the quality and paint application, and the detail on the faces and hair sculpt. You can see that right inside that packaging. Comparing him to his bootleg counterpart, however, you can immediately see the difference. With the face looking significantly worse, his accessories looking much cheaper, and plastic defects visible upon closer inspection. To wrap up the in-person segment, let's talk about some seller red flags, or warnings and indicators that something is up, which you should watch out for. If a seller adamantly refuses to let you inspect the packaging in detail, or even give you a closer look, don't buy that product. If the seller seems in a rush to simply get the money and leave, don't give in to that pressure. Always remember, you are buying the product. You can inspect as much as you'd like before the money leaves your hands. Sealed product is your friend, as most times it has not been tampered with, but there is nothing wrong with buying used or displayed product, so long as you make sure to inspect the figure itself before purchasing. Moving on to online purchases, you can usually rely on the same methods as in person to some degree, such as checking for stickers as well as getting an idea of the quality of a figure. A warning though, just because you see a figure on Amazon or on Walmart's website does not by any means guarantee that a figure is legitimate. Many sites, including big brand retailers, allow third-party sellers to sell their product through their website, and as such, you are still at risk of receiving a bootleg figure. Always make sure to read the description carefully and take a good look at the photos provided. If you're not buying from a website with an authenticity guarantee, make sure that you're provided with figures of the actual product, as opposed to simply the promotional shots. These photos are used by companies to show you the product you're buying. However, some individual scammers will use the very same photos in order to avoid showing you the bootleg they're attempting to sell you. A good rule of thumb is, if the price seems far too good to be true, whether it be incredibly cheap or even at a seemingly unreasonable discount, then it most likely is. Never be afraid to ask for more pictures and ask questions to the seller. If the seller truly wants to sell their product, they'll be more than happy to answer those questions or send you those photos. The more verification you have that a figure is legitimate, the more likely it is that you'll receive a product you'll be happy with and satisfied. Occasionally, you may come across a figure without its packaging, and it's being sold as a loose figure. Now, most of the time, the seller has simply either damaged the packaging or they've lost it. However, this is a tactic that can be used by some scammers selling you a loose figure so as not to show you the box, which might not be a good recreation or might be obviously a fake or missing some key indicators of authenticity. Now, I have the two Goku Blacks out here displayed. I have the official one on the left again, and I have the bootleg one on the right. We're actually going to take a quick look at their accessories, and you can see that the official Goku Black's Keyblade, it is done extremely well. You can see the shading, there's different shades of the coloration. Meanwhile, on the bootleg, it is an oversaturated sort of magenta color. It's a very ugly piece. We're also going to look at the little Kamehameha ball that he comes with, and you can definitely see that the vibrant purple on the official release is much better than the sort of faded, looking almost foggy purple on the bootleg. Let's take a look at the Super Saiyan Rose hair sculpts, and we'll notice that the official one does have a matte finish to it. The faces are done very nicely, while the bootleg one is significantly more glossy, and the faces seem to have a lot of red paintwork on there for some reason. Now, I'm going to bring the two figures closer to the camera so we can look at their joints. Oftentimes, bootleggers will not be able to recreate the fighting body. However, this one's a bit of an exception because this is a bootleg that was clearly put effort into. If we look at the arms, you'll notice that there are visible joints on the bootleg. You can see that bright silver right there, and that doesn't look good at all. If I go ahead and show you from the top down, you'll notice his arms keep flopping back and forth, and that is because they are very loose figures. On an official Figuarts, you will have no problem. You will have tight joints, everything will work great. So if you are buying online, you can't test for loose joints, but make sure that you do ask for pictures, you do ask for as much information as possible. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys something really quick. You'll notice the paint applications right here under the hips. You can see that it was done rushed. You can see that it's really cheap quality plastic. And if you look at the hair again, the official one does have a matte finish, while the bootleg does have another glossy finish. So, when you're buying a loose figure, it's very easy to tell if you're buying a real or a fake in person. And online, take a good look at those accessories. Those are usually your tell. Now, I want to cover what to do if you've been scammed. If you've unfortunately been the victim of a scam, if you've received a bootleg figure despite being guaranteed that it was authentic, there are ways that you can receive help. Always make sure you take photos of the packaging. Make sure you get photos that clearly show that this figure is not legitimate. And start typing up a little description of how you can tell for sure. Then reach out to the customer service team of wherever you purchased your product, if you purchased it online. If it's Amazon or Walmart and you purchased through a third-party seller, reach out to Amazon or Walmart themselves and ask them, hey, I purchased this product and it was a fake. And they'll help you, they'll walk you through getting a refund. If you purchased a figure in person, you are facing a little bit more of a difficult dilemma, seeing as the person is likely long gone. Now, you can circumvent this by, instead of paying in cash, you can do a PayPal transaction. Or you can say, hey, I'd like to buy this through some means with buyer protection. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you paid somebody $200 cash for, say, a Goku Black, and they disappear the next day and you find out the figure is a fake. Always try to use some sort of goods and services, something like that on PayPal, which really helps you out because you'll be able to have buyer protection. I do emphasize that if you're buying a figure in person, it is your best chance at verifying that it is legitimate. So make sure you go through the list that I included in this video of making sure you look for those stickers, look at the paintwork, look at the box, and look at the sculpting of the figure inside. So, remember, if you've been scammed online, there are plenty of ways to get your money back. You want to make sure that you have evidence. Take photos upon receiving it. Reach out to the customer service team. You are not alone. Many people have been scammed, so don't be afraid to reach out for help. That's going to go ahead and conclude this video on real versus bootleg figures. I do appreciate you guys sticking around. If you guys have any further questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'll respond to it as quick as I can. You can also reach out to me on my Instagram. It is linked. And you can ask, hey, is this figure legitimate or is this figure fake? And I'd be more than happy to look at any online listings, as well as any figure you might just want to send a picture of that's already in your collection. Thank you again for stopping by to look out, and I will see you this Friday as we crack open Majin Vegeta. See ya!